All right, 49er fans, before we go ahead and start today's 49er Report Mailbag, we are less than 200 subs away from 34,000 subscribers. So go ahead and hit the big red subscribe button down below. Heck, we might already be there by the time you're watching this video. But if we are, subscribe anyway. Let's get to 35,000 subscribers. So go down below, hit that big red subscribe button because we would greatly appreciate it. And of course, more subscribers means we're going to go ahead and have a lot more videos. All right, first question here comes from Scion. What position does the 49ers draft in the second round? That's a good one. Honestly, corner would make sense because there were a lot of second-round cornerbacks like Asante Samuel Jr., who might be there early on in the second round, who I could see San Francisco making a jump forward. There's a good one out of Georgia. There's a really good one out of Ohio State who will all go in the second round. I just don't know if cornerback's the biggest need right now. You start to look around the 49ers and you go, okay, maybe a safety, but they re-signed Tart. Maybe a cornerback, but they re-signed Barrett Mosley and K'Wan Williams. Maybe a wide receiver, but they're hoping Jalen Hurts going to be good. So honestly, it could be anybody. It could even be a pass rusher, even though they restructured D Ford. So I honestly don't know, but it could be any one of those. I think it'll be defense because you expect, of course, quarterback at 3. So I'm going to go with defense, but honestly, I have absolutely no idea. The car says, NFC West predictions. I've gotten this one a lot. Honestly, the Rams are going to be really good this year. Like, we have to understand just how good the Rams are going to be. They already have a great defense, a great offensive line, and an upgrade from Matthew Stafford from Jared Goff is like leagues better. They're going to be a double-digit win football team and the biggest threat to San Francisco in the NFC West. I think Arizona is going to be a lot better than they were last year. They won some nice games, but they lost some games they shouldn't have. And Seattle's had a lot of drama this offseason, but they're not trading Russell Wilson. All of these teams can beat up on each other. All of them can beat San Francisco, which is why 10 wins is probably a little bit, 11 wins is a little high of a prediction for me. I think it'll be the Rams, the biggest competition, Seattle at the bottom this year, and then the Cardinals sitting there at number 3. Orlando's got a question here. What does he want to ask? Any news on Jimmy G trade, or do you think we're going to keep him and draft a rookie? He can be behind Jimmy. If you believe Kyle Shanahan, and I think Kyle Shanahan, honestly, is a pretty honest guy. He said a couple days ago after the trade, they're going to keep Jimmy Garoppolo, and then they're going to draft somebody at 3, and then Garoppolo will, be the bridge quarterback for Justin Fields or Jimmy Jones or somebody else. So I honestly believe that. I think this will be Jimmy G's last season in San Francisco. I want them to trade him. I'm all for trading him. I just think that they're going to keep him just based on what Kyle Shanahan has said. There's a lot of mixed talk about whether the Patriots are really interested. I don't think New England is, although the Jimmy G asking price of a first-round draft pick has got to come down a little bit because it is just way too high, and no one will trade him for that. How about this guy, Chase the Third? He says, are you buying the Mac Jones hype? Okay. Oh, man, it's so tough because I can't just sit here and just dump on Mac Jones and say he's trash because he's not trash. Like, Mac Jones is really, really good. You remember, pre-national championship game, I was saying Mac Jones is going to be a top first-round draft pick when a lot of people weren't saying that overall. I do think he's worthy of a top 10 draft pick. I don't think he's worthy of number 3 overall. I think 8 to Carolina made the most sense because of the tie from the Senior Bowl with a guy like Matt Rule. I wouldn't absolutely hate the Niners taking him because Kyle Shanahan has a lot of success with pocket passers, and I guess he is. I just don't understand how you can watch the tape of Mac Jones and Justin Fields and feel like you want to have Mac Jones over Justin Fields. That's my problem. If there was no Justin Fields, fine with Mac Jones. That's great. There's a guy named Justin Fields, and I'm all for it, and I think they'll both be there. I really think they're doing a lot of smoke screen on Mac Jones. I think they're going to go ahead and take Kyle Shanahan. They're going to go and take Justin Fields, but that's just me. What do you guys think? Be honest. Would you be happy with Mac Jones at number 3? Let me know down below. There'll be a pinned comment. I want to see your answers in the comment section right now. Type Y down below for yes, type N down below for no. We got a super chat here from my man, No GQ Pena. So he, of course, gets an instant bump to the top of the line. The 49ers done with signing any more free agents. P.S. Shout out to Mr. Bo Jingles. Okay. I think that they are. Now, if they sign somebody, it'll be some no-name guy that will all kind of go, who is that? They're not going to go out and make any big splash. Now, the only player of note that they could go re-sign right now is Richard Sherman. That's literally the only one that would make sense would be Richard Sherman, just due to the fact that he has a connection, obviously, with the San Francisco 49ers. But that still is very, very slim because the Niners themselves did this whole, we're parting ways. And they were like, see you, Richard, we appreciate you. And then no one went out and signed him. It's really, he's not like a Jet or something right now. So I guess he could come back if no one else wants to sign him and he wants to play one more year. But I don't think there are going to be any more big-name free agents that are going to be signed. They might sign somebody else, but he's going to be someone that we all kind of go like, who is that? I don't really know who that is. Do you know who that is? And so nothing to really get too excited about. The question, though, I appreciate the super chat. Jason says, sign Mitchell Schwartz. He might be as well. Get him if McFloppy fails, and he'll be cheap. isn't he coming off of a bad injury? Like, is it him or Fisher that had the injury? Did Schwartz have an injury? I don't even remember. Yes, they both did, and they cut them both, right? Okay. I wouldn't hate the idea, but I think he's going to want to go ahead and rehab and then sign with somebody else. And it's weird that no one has signed him just yet. That injury might be a little bit worse than people actually realized. See another one here. The R&B bros said 49ers traded for a late first-round pick and draft a cornerback. If that happens, which cornerback? No, I think you can wait and still get a decent one in the second round. I'm like Sean Wade from Ohio State is probably going to be there. By the time San Francisco makes their pick at whatever it is, 50, was it 50 something? Can I do the math? 48 overall, I think, with 12. Yeah, that would make sense. I don't see a trade up. I think it's going to cost too much. You want to trade back in the first round, you're giving up a lot more than you would want. I say you sit tight and you take the best player available, whether it's a pass rusher, wide receiver, or cornerback. Those are kind of the three big needs. Maybe a safety after, of course, quarterback, as we've talked about here on the 49ers report. Let's go into the next question here from Jay Mouse. I don't know how to say that. No way Zach Wilson falls to 3. If he does, it would be scary, but I think we will draft Justin Fields or Trey Lance, maybe Mac Jones. Who knows? Yeah, here's the deal. I'm not convinced that he's going to be a Jet. I'm talking about Zach Wilson, but I am convinced he's going to go number 2 overall. I don't see a scenario where the Jets stay at 2 and take somebody. I think the Jets are going to trade out of 2. Someone moves up ahead of San Francisco and takes Zach Wilson. I'd be shocked if it's 1, Trevor Lawrence, 2, I don't know, Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, or Kyle Pitts, and then the Niners drafted number 3 overall. I just don't see that happening. So no way he does. But if he does fall, I think he'd be all over the 49er offense. He ran a similar offense at BYU, at least has some knowledge of the 49er offense. So I'd be all for it as well. I just agree. I just think that there's no way. DT says, do you trust the rumors about Justin Fields' work ethic of him being the last guy in, first guy out? I don't. And I know that I think it was Dan Orlovsky on ESPN some flack for this as well as he was talking about it. I don't buy it. I feel like that'd be a way bigger story if it was true. And maybe he has a work ethic problem, but I just don't think you can be that good of a quarterback and have that bad of a work ethic. Although you do think back to Jamarcus Russell, which was an issue, but no, I'm not buying into this work ethic issue that some people are saying about Justin Fields. And guess what? The Niners will find that out when they do their one-on-one meetings. They already have with Justin Fields. And it'd be pretty easy to tell if the guy didn't have a work ethic because scouts can figure out basically anything right now in the NFL. Irfan Mirza with that weird cat picture says, what do you think of this? When do you think San Francisco extends Fred Warner? I mean, eventually, right? They haven't done it yet, but there's no need to panic. I know that there have been a lot of articles and blog posts freaking out about the fact they haven't re-signed Fred Warner. Let's stop. They're going to re-sign Fred Warner. Like, relax. It's going to happen. I'm sure he's been assured of it, even though there's no official report on that. But I think they're going to extend him. It's just a matter of time. Jeremy Balding. Hey, Thomas, you going to make a new mock draft soon after the trade? That's a great question. Yes, the answer is yes. As, of course, I did a video earlier this week ranking my top quarterback options at number 3. You can see who I think is the best overall fit for San Francisco by clicking on that link right there, and it'll be down below as well. But guess what? You know what? Yes, I'll do a new mock draft. I'll tell you what day, too. I'll do it Tuesday next week. I'll do a mock draft for the Niners sitting at number 3. How about that? Is that fine? I'll do it Tuesday. How about that? So, of course, you go ahead and subscribe because that is the best way to be subscribed for whenever you get notified when I have my new mock draft, which hint it's Tuesday. And if you're subscribed, it'll be in your subscription box. And if you hit the notification bell, you'll get a notification. So yeah, I would 100% go ahead and subscribe down below because I will go ahead and do that new mock draft coming up next week. How about this name? Is this for the YouTube channel? Thomas Mott for SF quarterback. Listen, I'm telling you right now, at Baylor, 3 straight years starting quarterback, they called me Lamar Jackson. It's true. He was a baller. I'm not going to lie. I can really throw it around here. My roommate, Will, watched me play quarterback. He came and visited Baylor. He said it's the best intramural quarterback play he's ever seen. That's a quote. That's a direct quote. Let's see what he says here. What was your first reaction to trading up for the 3rd pick for a quarterback? I remember you said you didn't want a quarterback controversy between Jimmy G and somebody else. Well, here's the deal. I was skiing. I was on a ski lift when this happened. I went to Vail last week. I said a little plug. It was at Vail. It was pretty nice, but that's neither here nor there. I'm on a ski lift. So I had no idea for like the first 15 minutes, and then I'm on my phone. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I made a reaction video, which you can go find on my Twitter account right now. I got 1,000 views at Real Thomas Mott. My first reaction was, what did they give up? And then when I saw what they give up, I said, all right, well, they want a quarterback. Now, I mentioned no drama between Garoppolo and the backup quarterback. That's why I'm very much in favor of trading away Jimmy Garoppolo, the way you can go ahead and have no drama. But I do understand what Kyle Shanahan said earlier this week, saying he thinks Garoppolo can be a good bridge quarterback. And if that's the case, then I'm all for it. I just think if you're draft him at number 3, get him in there, let's have him playing, and therefore trade Garoppolo. But I mean, it was positive. It's always a shock, right? I thought they'd go from like 12 to 6 or 12 to 7. 3 was a little bit too high for me. It was like, wow, this is really high. But they must have known which quarterback they want to get, and they must have known someone else was trying to move up there. So I guess it makes sense. Good name, though. McCarr says, a couple more here. How would you feel if we drafted Justin Fields round 1? Then I always mess up pronouncing this guy's name, and every time I read it too. Melifonwu, as I believe is how you say his last name, in the 2nd round. I think I nailed it. I'm getting a thumbs up from my producer, so that's pretty good to me. I wouldn't hate it, honestly. I think that's a pretty good 1-2 punch. And you go talk about Justin Fields in general, I'm very much on board with drafting Justin Fields. I think Atlanta at 4 will 100% take Justin Fields if he's available. I think Atlanta wants to, and that's one of the reasons why the 49ers jumped ahead of Atlanta to number 3, because they want Fields more. So I think it's going to be Justin Fields. I'm all for that. How'd you feel? Okay, so that's the same question. Tide Pods. Man, remember that craze? That was fun. What would happen if Jimmy G does good? Well, then he would just keep being the starting quarterback. I mean, there's a very real possibility that Garoppolo, who has gone to a Super Bowl, let's not forget, I should say, that he plays well and he's a starter for the rest of the year. But the history would suggest that's not going to happen because Garoppolo's had injury issues and has struggled from time to time, at least a little bit last year. He wasn't that bad whenever he was in there, but injuries have been an issue. So if he does well, he stays in, and that means the Niners are winning, so we can't really complain. Like, I don't care who plays quarterback as long as they win. Like, you'd have a random scrub out there playing quarterback. He wins games. I'm fine with it. But I just think that they would expect him to need to be out at some point, and then, of course, he would be supplanted, and then you'd roll with Fields or Jones or Lance, whoever the heck you guys go ahead and have. Okay, let me ask you guys this. Name a player the Niners should trade for. You guys got any hot trade questions or trade predictions for me? Let me know who the 49ers should trade for down below right now in the comment section, as we have another super chat, which I think we're going to get to right now. But keep giving me your trade players down below. No, another 5 says, if Jimmy G stays, Niners draft Zach Wilson, will Shanahan use them both? As I can't see the quote right now, let me see what the rest of the thing says. It says, will Shanahan use them both like Harbaugh used Alex Smith and Cap back in the day? No, I don't think so. I know that, of course, Zach Wilson is very mobile, but this wouldn't be like a Eagles with Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts scenario, or like you said, what Harbaugh did with Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick. No, I don't see that happening at all. I think they would simply sit Zach Wilson and hope that Zach Wilson can be a sponge and learn the very difficult, let's say that again, it's a very difficult playbook of Kyle Shanahan's, and then be inserted whenever it was time to go ahead and get him there. And that, of course, would be the expectation from me. But I don't think that they would use them both. And I wouldn't want to use Zach Wilson as some sort of running weird wildcat guy, because he's spent to have draft picks on to get him killed out on the field. Tony says, Tony Two-Tone, I like that. Draft Fields and Mond. Wait, is this like, hang on. Draft Fields and Mond, Jones and Trask, Wilson and Mills, Lance and Sleeper, Zach Thomas. Why 2? No, I'm out on drafting 2. Now, I do think Kellen Mond had a really good pro. The guy has massive hands. Like, he has huge hands. He makes a football look like a Nerf ball, and he can throw it really, really well. He could be one of those Dak Prescott type, very successful later round quarterbacks out of the SEC. But no, you take one quarterback and one quarterback only. They don't need 50 on the roster overall. Evan Smith says draft Trey Lance. Okay. All right. I mean, we can. Maybe he's going to be good. I don't know. But he played one game last year, and it was for North Dakota State, and then he played another game for North Dakota State. I don't think you trade up for Trey Lance. If you want to trade Lance, you can sit your butt at number 6 overall and have been just fine. But I absolutely do not think the 49ers are going to go ahead and draft Trey Lance. But I have been wrong before. So I guess we admit that I've been wrong before. And so we just go ahead and roll with that. Let's see here. Brandon says, anyway, the 49ers trade up number 1? No, 0% chance. I mean, Urban Meyer basically admitted to Peter King from NBC Sports he's going to take Trevor Lawrence, number 1. So, no, I do not see that happening, Brandon. But crazier things have happened, but not that crazy. Uznik, is that how you say his name? 49ers are overrated, will not make the playoffs this year. Wow. So, which team do you root for? Are you a Seahawks fan? It's got to be a Seahawks fan, right? A Cardinals fan, maybe? Maybe a Rams fan? What part is overrated? Like, seriously, is it the top 5 offensive line? Is it the top 3 defensive line? Is it the top 5 linebacking core? Is it the top 10 running backing core? Is it the top 15 wide receiver? Like, what part's overrated? I don't know, because they're all pretty good, in my opinion. But what do I know, right? I just talk about them for a living, so I absolutely have no idea. But I think the Niners are not overrated and will be very good this year.